Hello everyone, welcome back to World Astrix. In today's tutorial, I will show you my workflow for creating abstract art in Blender 2.93 using only one cube and the array modifier. So first, start by deleting everything in the scene and re-adding the cube. Head over to the modifier menu and add an array modifier. Deselect the relative offset checkbox and select the object offset checkbox. Using the object offset option for the array modifier will give you more control over the shape and direction of the final product. You can use any object mesh for this option, but for this tutorial I am going to use empties. Press Shift A and add an arrows empty. Select the cube once more and set the empty as the object for the offset. Now when you move around the empty, the copies of the cube should follow. We're going to modify the position, rotation, and scale of this empty now. Change the X location to -2.3, the Y location to 0.12, the Z location to 0.79. Now change the X rotation to 26 degrees. Select the original cube and change the count to 20. And now you will have this spiral looking shape. Next, add another array modifier and hide the original array modifier so that it doesn't get in the way. This modifier will have similar settings to the first one, except we will leave the relative offset checkbox on, but also check off the object offset checkbox. Increase the count to 21, and as you can see we have this long chain looking shape. Change the X factor to 0 and the Z factor to 1 in the relative offset options. Now add another empty, and this empty will be in charge of controlling the final shape of the object. Set this empty as the object in the array modifier. Select the empty in the hierarchy. And we're going to modify the location, rotation, and scale. So for the X location, change that to -2.2, the Y location to -0.3, and the Z location to -1. For the X rotation, we're going to change that to 30 degrees, the Y rotation to -0.7, and the Z rotation to -0.1. Scale the object and all of the axes to 0.924. And we're going to set the same scale for the first empty that you created. Now you should have this spiral looking shape. With the modeling out of the way, I will now show you how to create the materials for this shape. Head over to the Shading tab, select the cube, and add a new material. You will need to add 4 more nodes to create the material for this shape. First, add a color ramp and connect it to the base color of the principal BSDF node. Now add a gradient texture and connect it to the factor of the color ramp. Add a mapping node and connect that to the gradient texture. And lastly, add a texture coordinate node and connect it to the mapping node. Now select the color ramp, and as you can see, the color ramp is going to determine how the gradient texture will be spread out throughout the shape. We're going to add 3 color stops by pressing on the plus button and change the position of the color stops to 0.75, 0.5, and 0.25, to spread them out evenly throughout the color ramp. Select the first color stop and change the color to a hex code of 00CDD6. Select the second color stop and change the hex color to 0007E5. Change the third one to 7000E5. The next one should have a hex color of D600BE. And the last color stop should have a hex color of FF0E00. And you will notice that the gradient will only affect the original cube. But we want this gradient to be spread out throughout the entire shape that we have modeled. In order to fix this, we will need to add another empty and position it at the end of the shape in the X direction. Select the cube and in the texture coordinate node, set the new empty in the object tab. Now when you move the empty, you will see that the gradient will follow along. Select the cube once more, and in the mapping node, change the X scale to 0.2. And now all that's left to do is scale the empty in the X direction until you get the look that you want. And that's all there is for the modeling and shading of this shape. Now all that's left to do is to add a background and some lighting to the scene. I'm going to speed up this portion of the video and go ahead and finish the scene. If you enjoyed, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to see more tutorials like this in the future. If you haven't checked out the video from earlier this week, make sure you do that by clicking on the link in the description. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.